So, can you tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Well, hello, I am Debbie Bridge, and I am a Canadian actor, singer, voiceover actor who landed here in the UK over 25 years ago and was lucky enough to stay. I've always lived in the South, so I was living in Brighton for most of that time. And then recently I've been able to move up to London and live my dream with being in the city of performance. So I came over as an opera singer. That was my plan. Because in Canada, to do opera, you're flying like hours, 5 hours in a plane, driving for days to get to a company that's close enough to you. So I felt Europe was a better place to be, and I got lucky enough to land here in the UK. And then from there, went to the Actors Center. I did some acting training with the Impulse Theater, which was amazing, fantastic stuff. And over the years, voiceover just came along because the voice and acting, there you go, they come together. And yeah, and I've won awards for my one woman show, Surely Not the Siren, and my voiceover work. So yeah, the fastest way I could get to some of my life because it's been a while. But there's a bit about me.
That's brilliant, thank you. And so, do I usually ask questions and then, but I don't limit to just asking questions. If I think of something, I will like ask sort of a follow-up question.
Yep.
So it's more of a chat because I think if you're like being interviewed, it's a bit sort of, well, a bit sort of, that's just
Yeah.
my feeling. So,
Cool.
what was your most memorable experience as a child, like in the theatre, like going to see a show or what have you?
Oh, my most memorable experience. I remember going in Vancouver. I was very fortunate, and I didn't think about this at the time. I didn't think I ever went to anything live. It's weirdly enough, I don't know why, but my parents and my grandparents, my mom's parents, they took me to see things like Cats and Phantom of the Opera, and I saw all sorts of different things. But the thing that really excited me whenever I was there, of course, the live performance was just incredible. I think live performance is the best in any art form for that matter. And when I used to love in the interval going down to where the orchestra pit was and just leaning over and seeing them in there. I don't know what it was about the orchestra pit, but I just thought it was the most coolest place on the earth. But because of my disability, I have a chronic pain illness. And I really wanted to learn the piano. That's what I really wanted to do. But I couldn't because my hands just would cramp and I would have too much pain. So my love of orchestras stemmed in the beginning from, just hearing that sound, that live resonance, and seeing those people on stage. I mean, I'm even getting goosebumps right now just thinking. I still have that desire to go up to that pit and look over and kind of like want to lean into that world and be a part of it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like last week, I actually went to see Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club.
Wow.
The orchestra was phenomenal. They were all phenomenal. Like, no wonder they won Olivier's and probably going to win Tony Awards. It was just amazing. It was just like I wasn't. I knew they were good, but I wasn't expecting it to be that good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is it. I think if anybody's never been to a live performance of anything, please go and experience that connection. That is just not like watching it, not like listening to it. I mean, those are great experiences as well, but the live performance is like total 3D-ness. You get it, it's sound surrounds you, comes into you, and especially if it's acoustic, because then you're really getting that kind of natural connection that we get with sound in a way that's so phenomenal. And that's part of the reason I do the work I do and like to bring it to a lot of smaller venues and rural touring situations because people don't often get to hear that operatic voice in its true form
Yeah.
because they have all these concepts of what opera is. For me now, it's just fun. I do it with a lot of comedy and tongue in cheek and all that kind of stuff. So when I get to do it, people are always blown away by the power of it, by the way it hits them. Sometimes people cry because of the emotional memories that are brought up by maybe some of the songs they hadn't realized they hear all the time. Because this is the thing about classical music. You hear it all the time. You just don't realize you're hearing it in movies and commercials or whatever, or special events like weddings and funerals and whatever. So I have had a lot of amazing moments with a lot of Ave Marias where people are like, ah, you remind me, blah, blah, blah. And I love that. That's what I love. I love that connection. And I love the fact that I don't get to just do that classical stuff. I get to do the whole spectrum now. I get a much broader range of style of music that I bring into the work that I do.
That's brilliant. So you're talking about, like you said, you saw Phantom. Is there a production that you wish like you could have seen like uh, anywhere in the world?
You know, right now, it's the one you just said. I'd love to see the cabaret show, especially a VIP version, because I've heard that's the, the nicest way to do it. But it's really expensive. So hats off to you that you got to go see it. That would be from what I understand, it is a really full experience because it's with the tables and
Yeah.
amazing performers and in a lovely venue and everything. So that would be right now the one I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I was lucky enough to win the Today Tix lottery for that. So
Ah.
that's like so it opens think at 1 minute past midnight on the day.
Oh, I did. Ooh, this is secret information, people. I love it.
And then like I thought I don't know how I just won it. I was like I spent a couple of days in London because I had some free time.
Hmm.
And I was like I entered on the Monday, didn't get it. To on the Tuesday. I was like, I've won. I was so, like, I was so amazed because it was the first time I sort of used the lottery. I knew about it for ages, but I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And and the tickets are only £25
Okay, yeah, that's more doable.
compared to like
100 or
120,
yeah.
£120. So I was so happy.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, cool. That is just a great story, and I didn't even know that was out there. So that's cool.
I'll try and see if I've got. I'll show you the app 1 second. So that's it up there.
I have to put the glasses on for this
Oh,
one.
is it going to focus?
Well, so it's changing things. What's the site actually called?
So it's called Today Ticks.
Oh, Today Ticks. TIK? Today Ticks. Oh, cool. Okay. I'm going to try what you did. I actually live in London, so I could try it many times until I get in. So you have just made my dream come true today. I'll let you know when I get in.
Definitely, please do. Who would you say your heroes are in like the theatre world?
Well, they're going to be pretty bog standard, I'm afraid. Barbara Streisand, um, Bette Midler, Lucy, I'm going to say Lucille Ball because she was on the stage as well many, 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 many years ago. Carol Burnett, Tim Conway. Yeah, that's just a small list, I'm sure, but those are the ones that are popping into my head straight away. Because I really love that ability to sing well and make people laugh. That to me is just an incredible experience to be a part of. And it was one of the joys I had as a kid was that a great escapism and to laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. You know, who doesn't want to laugh, have that joy?
Yeah, it definitely is. The thing I love about theatre as well is that you can be immersed in the production and sort of, if you're having a stressful day or week or month or even year, you can just relax, go and see. Like, I'm a massive fan of Mischief Theatre, like who do the play that goes wrong. I just find all their work so silly. It's such a nice laugh. Like
Hmm.
just so different to like seeing like something else completely different. So it's lovely.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those, and I everybody I talk to says The Play That Goes Wrong is absolutely hilarious. So that's another one I'm gonna try and get a ticket for now. Yeah, cool.
So if you could like work with anyone, past, present, or um like in the future, who would you like to work with?
Now, this is somebody probably most people don't know about, or who may on your podcast not know about. Her name is Sarah Louise Young. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she is an incredible performer. She sings, she's funny, she creates these amazing shows, and she's just a fantastic person on top of that. So she's somebody I would love to work with, but she's so busy. I've tried to ask her if she could be a director on my show, and she's like, not this year, too busy. I'm getting married, have doing traveling to Australia, blah blah blah, doing her own work. So she's somebody I would absolutely, and I hope to have the honor of working with in some capacity in the not too distant future.
That's brilliant. What outside of the theatre world, what's your favourite thing to do? Like go for walks, spend time with family, and
Oh, definitely go for walks. I have this gorgeous little Chihuahua, and she is my world. So anything I can do with her, I am ecstatic about. So this last weekend we went to the doggy event here in Greenwich, and she didn't win best dressed. I'm really disappointed, but to me, she's the best dressed. She's just great. So things like I do pub quizzes so I can bring her with me. I will go to theater and cabaret performances in pubs, partially because I can bring her with me. So yeah, that I mean, of course I go to exhibitions. Like this week, in fact tonight I'm going to see the exhibition. What's it called? I've written it down here so I could remember. Oh no, it's not there. It's on my computer. That's right. It's called Surviving Even, which Even is a prison in Iran. And my friend's father he was there and sadly was held prisoner there unjustly for a very long time. And so it's an amnesty event to raise awareness about what happened to him and what's happening there. So yeah, well, all sorts of things I do. And one thing I did want to add to when you say who would I love to work with, and I almost did work with this person, but unfortunately she passed away before we got to work together, and that is a person called Lynn Ruth Miller. And Lynn Ruth Miller was a comic that started in her 70s, an American comic. She came over here and she was blowing people away in her 80s. I felt like right when she passed away was right when she was going to make it to the big, she was breaking the ceilings of getting into comedy as an older female and getting a lot more interest. But she was somebody else that I'm sad that I didn't get to work with when I had the opportunity. So yeah, there you go. That's a bit of. Oh, sorry, I didn't say another thing I love to do. Agatha Christie. Anything Agatha Christie, I'm your gal. I just finished doing an open learning course, which they offer for free on Agatha Christie. I read books of Agatha Christie. Festival. I'm now part of a group here in London that I went to on Sunday for the first time that reads her books, and they were doing events together, like going to her house and in her winter house that she had. I've already been to the summer one. And we're going to go see one of the places she lived in London during World War II in the next few weeks. So anything Agatha Christie, and I'm just like a rash to skin. I just love it.
Talking about Agatha Christie, have you managed to see The Mousetrap?
Of course. Oh gosh, that was I think the first show I saw in the West End because it's just if you're an Agatha Christie fan, that's what you do. In fact, I'd like to go again, and a friend of mine and myself are trying to go again, but we keep having, diaries not happen for whatever reasons. So I'm going to go again because it, I, the nice thing is it's been so long, I've kind of forgotten the ending, even though I do remember the experience of the ending and how many twists there are at the end of that play. And I just thought, this is just genius. Um, so I want to go back and maybe not quite, you never can replicate the experience quite the same way, but I would like to go again and see it again. And which is rare for me. I very rarely like to see shows twice because I feel like life's too short and there's so many great pieces out there to see. I try not to repeat seeing the same stories, but for her, I'll do it.
Oh, definitely. It's so hard to keep a track of like shows I've not seen. I've actually got lists on my phone that I'm either in the middle of contacting, going to see, or that I need to arrange for. But I've never seen Phantom,
Oh yeah,
which is really embarrassing. So I'm like, I need to book it when
it's
I'm
definitely it's one of those shows that I think it's if you're a musical theater fan, it's kind of you need to see it at least once in life because of what it did at the time when it came out and how it did it. I don't know if it would be such a surprise today when you're watching it, but I still think it's a piece of the history of musical genre that it broke a lot of new grounds in production and how you do it and yeah, it was when it first came out, it was just my brain just went, oh, I didn't know you could do that on a stage. So yeah, amazing.
that's brilliant. So now going over to your show, what sort of person do you think would love your show?
Well, definitely women of a certain age, because it's about Shirley Not the Siren, who has been put out to sea because she's a middle-aged siren. And so, anybody female that feels they're middle-aged, definitely, or just wants to have a good laugh of that transition in life. And I've had lots of men come along and we have jokes as well that include the male identifiers out there. So yes, it's quite all encompassing, but it really is focused on that transition that women go through. And the thing is, why I want to talk about it so much, or kind of bring it up, is because it's a bit like when I was young, it was a big deal talking about your period. And that's no big deal anymore. It's not like it was. But going through the menopause is still a little bit like, ooh, I have to say anything about this. And there's a lot of I don't know, I think negativity about growing older. And I really just like, no, 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 no. Let's embrace this. It's like it's a good thing. It's like we all go through this, both men and women. I like that people are now using the term menopause because the male species does go through this as well. It's just we don't identify it enough. So I want to just open the gates and kind of go, here, this is what actually happens, and it's kind of funny and it's great, and there's lots of good things that come with it as well as you know, the fact that you're getting older and things don't quite function as they used to.
That's brilliant. So, well, what's the last thing you do when you step out on stage or the curtain goes up? So, you might have a ritual that you do or something like that.
So that really depends on the moment. So I'll try and tell you a few of them because yeah, it really just depends. So sometimes I might be triggered by what's happening around me and use that energy to just launch me onto the stage. Sometimes I'll listen to, music and just dance around. Like it's really easy. I remember when I was doing Carmen, oh, the music, there was this beautiful orchestral intro into the piece, and I would just stand in the wings quietly listening to it. And it was just a wonderful way to kind of just, you know, fly onto the stage. When I did the coronation of Popea, there was a duet at one point, and they were two beautiful singers singing this duet, and I would just sit in the wings and listen to that, and it kind of immerses me in the world. But also, I might just run on the spot, whatever works to get me out of any not helpful thinking
Yeah,
and just be in the moment and then go. Because if I overthink anything, if I think, oh, I can't do this, oh, I don't remember the line, then I might be in trouble when I get out there. So I try and kind of just do anything to distract me from that kind of negative mind.
that's brilliant. Thank you. And so, when you're performing, what's your favorite aspect of performing? And also, um, what runs your day? Do you like have a set schedule? Like, do you like a cup of tea? Do you like to go for a walk with your dog? Stuff like that.
Well, because I'm neurodiverse, doing things regularly is a real problem. But I try to, at some point in the day, start or move my days through a kind of routine. So I kind of connect to a deeper self via meditation, via yoga, walking, positive affirmations. I work through all of that stuff. I kind of have a ritual around that gets me going. And then I kind of look at the priorities for the day and I work on those things. Um, you asked me another question there, but the first one, I can't remember what it was now.
What's your favorite aspect of performing?
Favorite aspect of performing. That's why I giggled on that one, didn't I? It's because I love the connection. This is why I love live performance the best. It's that connection with the audience when you actually feel them and they're in the room and they're every performance is going to be different as a result of that, even if it doesn't look like it. There is a communication that goes on in that space that isn't quite the same on a film set or even in voiceover when you're in the studio, unless you're working, directly with the other
Yeah.
actors. But even then, you don't have the audience. You have maybe a director or sound booth people, or in the case of film, it's the crew, um, and they aren't the same reactive. I mean, they can be right in there with you, but it's not quite the same as that live audience. And the fact that you just keep going, there's no stopping.
Yeah.
Or if you stop, he's like, okay, now I'm going to have to work this in to this little mistake of mine, and make it work and keep going. So there's that excitement. I love roller coasters, and live performance is like that roller coaster. You
Yeah.
can't get off. You just got to ride it through and get to the end, and hopefully enjoy the ride. It might just be a little bit of hairy turns along the way.
Definitely. We're now coming up to near the end of our chat, really.
Mhm.
So I've got a couple more questions left. And then before that, I want you to, can you think of a question that I can ask my next podcast guest in a couple of days?
Okay.
So they won't know it's from you unless like they watch back or if I cut it out or what have you.
Okay. Do you want me to, or you want me to think about it, or do you want me to just tell you one right now?
Can you think about it? I'm just gonna ask you a couple more questions and then we'll go back to it.
Gotcha.
So this is not really a question. This is basically if people want to find more about your show, where can they find you, like on social media, your website?
Well, the show is going to be on at Chichester Festival on June 14th at 6:30, and I'm doing a workshop before it for people. It's called Bravery to Sing Workshop at 5. So anybody who has a fear of singing or wants to get back into singing and is in the Chichester area, you can do that and then go see the show afterwards, which is surely not the siren. So you can find information about that on my website, which is debbiebridge.com. And if you go into the singing tab, you'll find it in the about page. You'll find Shirley in the drop down menu, or just email me through that whenever I'm doing any you know, dates, or follow me on my social media, which is Facebook is just Debbie Bridge, Instagram is Debbie Bridge One because somebody else got in there before me. LinkedIn, I think it's Debbie Ann Bridge. Once again, somebody else got in there, and within no E. And then Twitter, I am Debbie Bridge, and YouTube, it's Debbie Bridge. And yeah, so the best places are probably my website, social media, and the Chichester Fringe page if you're coming along to that performance.
That's brilliant. And finally, in 3 words, why should people come and see your show?
It's fun, it's silly, and it brings joy. Oh, that's four. Sorry, joy.
That's okay. And going back to the last question I asked, um, where I ask future podcast guests, a question on your behalf. What's your question?
My question is, what is the scariest thing they've ever done in their personal life, not work life, but personal life?
One second. Thank you. And thank you for coming on my podcast as well.
Yeah,
It
it's been
might
fun.
take
Thank you.
a couple of days for me to get it uploaded, sorted, but probably I'll say in about a week's time, probably.
Super.
Right.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim.
And let me know how it goes if you want me to like share any like press assets at all. Let me know.
Sorry, any what?
Any like press assets like with a booking link or something like
Oh yeah,
photos.
definitely. I'll email you that
That's brilliant.
today. Cool. Yes, and you're in Margate, am I right?
I am, yes.
So because I listened to your podcast. You mentioned that you're in Margate. I was like, oh, that's a nice place to live. Oh, right. So I was going to say if you can come along to the show, but I think that's a bit of a trek for you. But maybe another time. I could put tickets aside for you if you were free. But
Thank you. I am trying to get a few like people to help me with reviewing because I can only like review a show a month in London because I'm not there all the time. So
okay,
it's not easy sometimes, like with work and stuff. Anyway, let me know how it goes.
will do.
Best of luck. If you want me to, if you want to send me anything, please do,
Yeah.
and I'll try and get that uploaded and shared.
Cheers. Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Nice to meet you.